As somebody who is very most likely on the autism spectrum somewhere, I have to say, one of the things that I've always found fascinating, and I hope that this turns out kind of like an old school YouTube thing, one of the things I liked about old school YouTube, and I'm talking about like 2008, 2009, was that people did shelf tours. They said, hey, here's what's on my shelf. And it was just them talking about it. And it was very relaxing to me. And so I was hoping to do that. And the reason I bring up the autism spectrum is because that I believe that other people who are on the autism spectrum may find this relaxing in that same way. So let's begin. These are enormous shelves that come from a Starbucks, come from inside of a Starbucks. They are almost to the ceiling. So they are 7 feet or so tall. Up here at the top, we've got some material. There's going to be a theme here, and that everything is about material. Everything is about keeping stuff so we can use it as material for projects. So I've got some material. There's some gloves pinned to the wall. Got some material. This is long material. There's some wood in there, some medium density fiberboard. There's some edge work in there. There are some drawer slides up there. There is a piece of tool steel. There are a couple pieces of tool steel, I think, up there. Tool steel is used for making things like drill bits and taps, things like that. Up here we have basically every color of gel pen that's ever been made. At one point I built the ultimate arts and crafts cabinet, and one of the things about the ultimate arts and crafts cabinet is that it was ultimate. It had everything in it. And so again, you probably see there's quite a few things actually from the arts and crafts cabinet. But for right now, we have gel pens. This is every color of gel pen they make in various brands. Some other things in there, some other art supplies. Okay, coming down to the main shelf now. We've got some C-clamps. C-clamps. Those are used for clamping things. They look like this. They look like C. We have a respirator for any projects that require that, things that are chemical in nature. We have the InSync Hotline Fantasy Phone and CD-ROM game, which I bought for a project that I never ended up realizing. We have Absolutely Delicious, a cookbook. We have the complete tasks for people in the Army, the Adventure Time Encyclopedia, another cookbook from a church somewhere. I have a lot of those. Good Housekeeping cookbook. Good and Easy cookbook. This is from the 80s sometimes, 70s or 80s. Absolutely Delicious. You'll notice that all of my things are numbered. I number everything that I own, and even though it's not organized or in the right order at all. But I order everything, or I number everything because I might need to find it later. And I have a directory on my computer that says what everything is. We have, boy, this is going to be hard to see, isn't it? That's okay, one take, that's all we get. That's all we get in life, is one take. We have another cookbook, Lady and Son Savannah Country Cookbook by Paula Deen. We don't really talk too much about her these days, probably for the best. We have Be the Solution. This is an education book. How entrepreneurs and conscious capitalists can solve all the world's problems. That's a helpful one for my business. We have Fantasy Wargaming. These are some comic book backing boards. I don't really know why I have those for the couple of comics that I have, and we'll get there. Fantasy Wargaming, which as far as I can tell is an infamous book. It's an infamous book. I don't know why. I haven't read it, but it's my understanding that that book is infamous for some reason. We have The Complete Headbanging History of Heavy Metal. Never read that. The Beatles' Unseen Archives. Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. A book that I didn't really care for, but I understand. I mean, I get what it's trying to tell me, but I bounced off. I didn't finish this one. The Inventions, Researches, and Writings of Nikola Tesla. Space Base, a dice throwing board game. We have the Great Western Trail, another board game. We have 2 AP Physics C binders. I don't believe there's much material in there, but that's for teaching AP Physics C. We've got 100 Swords. 100 Swords is a dungeon crawling game that involves using swords to defeat monsters and pick things up. We're going to go ahead and pick that up while we're here. Mini torch. This is Yu-Gi-Oh cards from when I was a kid. Kept those. This stuffed animal is from an ex-girlfriend. We've got I believe a glass cutting. This is a glass cutter. This is a glass cutting kit for cutting pieces of glass. We have another cookbook. This is What's Cooking in the Cooper Clinic. This is a diet and weight loss clinic book, and so they have recipes for that. I actually made several of the recipes in this book, and I did not much care for them. Oh, here we go. Here's a treat. We've got some original Mr. Warden's Workshop brochures, a whole stack. This is for the Academy itself. Hey, there's the YouTube channel that we're on right now. And it talks about maker spaces and the kind of place it is. It's a brochure for the Academy. We have the Lord of the Rings Blu-ray set. It's I think it's one of the only sets of DVDs that I have. I maybe have 2 more, maybe 1 more, but I do not. Here's a drumstick. Here's we'll skip that. I don't know what that is. This is a blade of some sort, a knife. We have Pathfinder Rise of the Rune Lords base set. I didn't much care for this game. I haven't played it really with anybody else, but it's like Pathfinder, the role-playing game, but it's a board game. We have 12 Realms. This is a fantasy game, a fantasy board game. I did not much care for that as well. These are tokens that say also possible on them. These are what we were going to give to people for our business during that particular iteration, that we were going to give to people so they could scan the QR code on it and be taken someplace on the internet. Maybe we can still utilize that. This is 007 World Is Not Enough for N64. This is number 26 on the shelf. 1066 Tears to Many Mothers. This comes from a period when I was buying games alphabetically. I bought 12 Realms at the same time as well. I was specifically buying games in an alphabetical order that I liked the look of on Board Game Geek. And so that's where these come from. That's why these are early in the alphabet, because they are games that I purchased during that time. It was a very odd thing to do, but if we go further in this series, you'll see that I do that a lot. I build specific parameters to influence my projects. The white box, this is like the White Album. No, it's not. This is like how to make a board game, make your own board game kit, essentially. It's pretty cool. Nefarious is a board game I quite like. It's okay. It's good. It's good. Betrayal at House on the Hill is one that I very much like. This is about being in a haunted house. Nefarious is about mad scientists. Betrayal at House on the Hill is about could be about a mad scientist. It's about going into a haunted house and seeing what lie inside. One of the players is outed to be the bad guy during the course of the game, and so that changes how the game's played. Terraforming Mars, one of my favorite games right now. It's about terraforming Mars. We have a couple things back here. We have 12 Monkeys Season 2 and 12 Monkeys Season 2. 12 Monkeys, the TV show, is my favorite TV show. If you've never seen it, you should watch it. It's about time travel. It's based on the story. There was another movie with Bruce Willis called 12 Monkeys, with Brad Pitt is also in it. And this is the same kind of story, but it's a TV show and it's really cool. This is 1080 Snowboarding. You'll notice that all these things start with numbers for the same reason that I explained over here. I was buying things alphabetically. 1080 Avalanche for GameCube. This is Dot Hack GU Volume 1 Rebirth. In that game, you are going inside the video game, inside this video game. So it's video gameception, like that. We have Walden, a very important book for me. I'm a little soured on it right at this moment in my life because it comes from a place of privilege. Just like a lot of philosophy, it comes from a place of privilege. And so some of the messages in it are a little shaky, on shaky ground. We have 1080 Snowboarding for N64, the first one. This is the sequel. 1080 Avalanche for GameCube is the sequel. Yeah, there's two shelves. There's already 10 minutes. If anybody wants me to continue this, I can. This is something I just wanted to try. Something a little experimental. Something I just wanted to see if people vibe with what you see here. And if we do, maybe we'll talk some more because I got a lot of interesting things. I have every Sharpie that's ever been made. Here's Thin Orange. Anyway. Oh yeah, we'll get that in there. Oh yeah, we need that. With some pickled asparagus. One day we'll eat that. Anyway. Yeah, some clamps. A pole, a piece of pipe. Oh, you know, one day maybe we'll talk about this. This is me keeping track of cords and cables. Anywho, this is my life. So hello. Have a nice day.